Hey guys, it's Brendan from Heartbreaker Guitars, and we are getting ready to leave tomorrow morning for Santa Cruz, California, where we're going to go out to the Rick Turner shop and visit with the crew to discover the brand new limited edition Rick Turner Heartbreaker Featherweights. That's right, new Model 1s from Rick Turner Guitars that are exclusively for Heartbreaker Guitars. They're going to be amazing, guys. We've got a quilted and flame maple top as well as a Zeracote top on these cedar core featherweights. They're going to be incredible. So come along with us, check it out as we explore the brand new Heartbreaker Featherweights from Rick Turner Guitars.
Ready to go or what?
Hey everybody, it's Brennan from Heartbreaker Guitars, and I'm here in Santa Cruz, California with Zach Jones, the production manager of Rick Turner Guitars. Zach, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Pleasure to have you here today, Brendan.
Awesome, man. Anyway, as you know, we are here to unveil the latest limited edition series from Rick Turner Guitars, the Heartbreaker Featherweights. Anyway, Zach, as you know, Rick and I began this project, I think it was December or January 2022. And since then, obviously, we had his tragic passing, and everything shut down, not just for you guys, but for us, because that was a terrible moment. And anyway, after everybody got back to work, we discussed whether we should complete the featherweight editions of the project we began with Rick, and everybody said, yeah, let's do it. Can you touch on that at all?
Well, as difficult and a transition as it was to lose Rick, there was never any intent, there was never any foresight to seeing things end, seeing things slow down. That includes our consistent projects with Heartbreaker Guitars, and wanting to see these instruments to the next phase was a natural conclusion that made a lot of sense. We chose Zeracote for half of the series, as well as maple for the other half. And these are being put on top of the Featherweight's traditional cedar core with a mahogany neck.
Now, what does the cedar do to the tone versus the mahogany, which is on the other Model 1s?
So the cedar creates not only a lighter weight instrument, but kind of an airier vibe to the instrument. You feel a little bit of extra spring underneath your fingers. And there's a little bit of a top end that happens that's distinctly different from the robustness of the mahogany body cores.
Yeah.
It really emphasizes a different kind of a frequency range that has a different kind of articulation to it that makes these feel particularly unique.
Cool. Rick used to always say that he always felt like the featherweights had a slightly new, more acoustic vibe to them.
And you know, it pairs naturally with the acoustic pickup of the Model 1, the CP version. So we use the piezo bridge with a blending circuit, and compared to the mahogany ones, you do end up with a little more of an acoustic kind of a vibe to it sometimes. And it really gets brought out with the cedar core.
Cool. Well, before we jump into any more specs, let's do a quick demo. Jason?
Man, this, like, just for our audience out there, this, I mean, you know, broad strokes, of course, but this really is the ideal fingerstyle guitar. Would you agree with me on that?
I think it certainly is. It lends itself well with a really vibrant and dynamic body design, as well as the addition of the piezo and the magnetic pickup really lets you find a place where your attacks are personal. You really get to vibe with the guitar, and it moves on your body as you're playing it.
Yeah, and there's a certain mid-range and brightness to it, and attack speed that just isn't present with a lot of electric guitars, you know, especially in this higher range. There's so much clarity. Every note, you know, when you get into clustered tones and things like that, every note you can hear individually. There's no clustering in that lower mid frequency and like those gross.
All the string definition. You hear every note that every finger is playing, and it doesn't just mush into one thing. You get dynamics out of every single part of the player dynamic. So now, Jason, why don't you go ahead and roll that exclusively onto the piezo so we can just hear the acoustic sound of the Model 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing.
Strong contrast.
Just amazing, yeah.
You know, Zach, one of the reasons we chose the Featherweights as the next limited edition is Rick always wanted his customers to have the Featherweight because they would fall in love with the Model 1 Mahogany and would come back for more, but this is something a little bit different. You still get that classic Model 1 tone, but a slightly different, just a slightly different flavor, you know?
There's a nuance to them that's particularly unique.
Yeah, and that on top of that, we at Heartbreaker Guitars, we would get calls all the time. Somebody would buy a Model 1 from us, and then they'd come back and say, what's this Featherweight? And we get excited because we love the Featherweights, but they just don't sell as much as the classic, iconic Mahogany body. So anyway, we just thought that this was a great idea to bring the Featherweight to the Rick Turner fans.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so we've got the Cedar core, we've got the Zero Cote cap front and back on this, maple on this one, and then I don't think we've talked about electronics, so why don't we cover the electronics on this?
Sure, so this is what we refer to as a CP model, and it all starts with the pickup systems. This uses the traditional hot humbucker that's been wound here at Rick Turner Guitars for the entirety of the Model 1's production, and it's paired with the Bag's piezo bridge and our blending preamp. So being a CP model, you're able to walk between the magnetic pickup, the piezo sounds, and places that you can discover in between. And those all go into the Model 1 electronics, where you have volume and a passive tone roll-off and an equalizer that when you engage it, you have a parametric EQ that can boost, cut, high, mids, and lows, so you can reshape the entire frequency of the guitar to fit your drive, your amplifier, and your mood.
Awesome. So can you explain to me a little bit about kind of what's going on with the parametric EQ here and how to implement it properly?
Sure. So the parametric equalizer exists in an effects loop inside of the guitar. And if you flip that switch, you'll engage a boost and a cut. So why don't you go ahead and do that, and then just turn that knob on the bottom pretty far forwards.
All right. So just for a reference, here's where we're starting. And then after we boost, go all the way up here. And then this right here.
Yeah, that's going to sweep the equalizer, so you can access more mids, highs, and lows.
Okay, so if we kind of go. You could almost use like a little makeshift wah.
It's really accessible for revoicing the drive of a hot amplifier or a good low gain or high gain pedal for overdrive.
Yeah, that's incredible. Basically just gives you an entirely new selection of tones that you can really implement into whatever you're currently working with. That's just amazing. Obviously, you know, we're dealing with a hot humbucker here, but you guys have implemented a coil split function. And how do you go about activating that?
So if you pull the tone knob on the Model 1, it's going to short one of the coils of the hot humbucker that gives you a single coil sound.
Okay, perfect. So let's do a little A-B here. So this is humbucker. And then we'll tap that coil. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. Just like the sonic variance between those two, it's subtle, of course, you know, but it's so beneficial when you're doing those kind of, you know, spankier, you know, 1980s sort of.
And it really opens up the Model 1's accessibility so that you can revoice the pickup beyond the equalizer or mixing the piezos in. You can have access to more traditional guitar sounds.
Yeah, definitely. And so, like, for example, if we were to, you know, split coil, activate EQ, kind of dial it up about halfway. Let's do a little comparison here. So I guess just with the coil split. And then with that EQ activated,
Tell us about the rest of the features on the instrument.
Sure, so in addition to the hardwood tops and the cedar core, we have a mahogany neck on all of these instruments, and that's paired with a royal blackwood fingerboard with a variety of roasted purple heart. We have matching head caps for all the headstocks, and the tuning machines are Planet Waves auto trim locking tuners. All of this is paired with a bone nut that's handcrafted and is set up to be as accessible and playable as you can have it.
Okay guys, that about does it for us here in Santa Cruz, California. I'm Brendan from Heartbreaker Guitars. Zach, thanks so much for taking the time to spend with us, man. And oh, I forgot to ask you, now how many of these are we building of each?
This is a limited series for Heartbreaker Guitars, and we're building 10 total, 5 with the zirconia top and back, and 5 with quilted or flamed maple top and back.
Okay, well, I gotta tell you, Zach, job well done. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, from Santa Cruz, California, signing off. It's Brendan, that's Zach. We're at Rick Turner Guitars in Santa Cruz, California. Thanks for watching, guys.